Hi, I'm Chad Douglas. Here we go with another Connect to Congress, an initiative between KHQA and our parent company Sinclair Broadcasting to keep you connected to your federal representatives in Congress. We welcome Congressman Darin LaHood from Illinois' 18th District right now. He joins us via satellite in Washington, D.C. Hello, Congressman.
Hey, Chad. Great to be with you and your viewers.
Glad that you are here. A few questions for you today. Just last month, the president transferred 15 detainees out of the detention facility at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, to the United Arab Emirates, the single largest transfer, by the way, since President Obama took office. Now, the administration has also already cleared 20 of the remaining 61 detainees at Gitmo for release. This week, the House is expected to vote on a measure that would block the transfer of any more detainees from the U.S. military prison at Guantanamo Bay. How do you feel about this?
You know, I'm going to support the bill. I have real concerns about the continued transfer of terrorists out of Guantanamo Bay. You know, at one time we had over 100 detainees there, terrorists. You also couple that with the fact, Chad, that 1 in 3 of these releases of detainees, they go back to terrorist activities. They're back on the battlefield. That's confirmed numbers, and it may even be higher than that. You look at what has happened in the past. These are terrorists. These are enemy combatants, people that want to harm America. And the only reason why the president has them send them to the United States is we have a law in place that you can't bring them to the United States. And so the bill we're going to vote on tomorrow says that there can no longer be a transfer of anybody out of Guantanamo Bay. President, this is he's trying to fulfill his legacy here of closing Guantanamo Bay. If you look at where Guantanamo Bay is situated on the end of the island in Cuba, it's there for a reason. So we don't keep them in America here. We have to continue to support that facility because unfortunately, we're not done with terrorism. We're going to continue to arrest terrorists. And we need to have a place to put them, not in the United States. Again, I can't stress enough, these are enemy combatants that want to harm America, and we continue to release them, and they're back on the battlefield trying to harm America and our interests around the world. So I'm going to wholeheartedly support the bill and continue to support the facility in Guantanamo Bay. And I would also say, if you talk to our military folks, our intelligence folks, they support having the Guantanamo Bay facility stay in place.
All right, talking education now, you wanted to talk a little bit about a bill going through the House called the Strengthening Career and Technical Education in the 21st Century. What would you like to tell your constituents about this bill and how's it going to affect us back here in Illinois?
Yeah, sure. It's a bill that we voted on this week that reauthorizes a piece of legislation that had been in place for a while, but you know, we have wonderful community colleges in my district, Central and West Central Illinois. I visited John Wood on a couple occasions, and I've seen the work that goes on here. What this bill does is it reauthorizes a piece of law that we had in place, but it raises the awareness on our community colleges. You know, there are many kids that come out of high school that maybe going to higher education isn't for them. So having technical and vocational opportunities for them is very, very important. It helps with that. Some new resources where we need them with our community colleges, and I'm very proud of our community college system in Illinois. Many of our folks, go 2 years at community college, then go on to higher education if they want to do it. But this again focuses on, how we can help with, maybe it's truck driving, maybe it's working as a welder, maybe it's helping out in construction. There's lots of different areas, and so proud to support it. It's a bipartisan bill. It'll next go over to the Senate, and I look forward to hopefully having it passed there and getting signed by the president.
I also wanted to chat with you about presidential politics now with the election just a couple of months away, a few weeks actually. We're hearing that there may be a second investigation called about Hillary Clinton's emails. Do you think this needs to happen, and how would you like to see this proceed through Congress?
Well, I don't serve on that committee, but clearly there is a lot of interest in what happened with these emails. When Director Comey made his determination, he used, again, these were his words, gross negligence, extreme carelessness, violated federal law, misleading. And then you couple that with the fact that, everything that was released by the FBI director it appears that Hillary Clinton and people that work for her bleached many of the computers there, basically wiping them clean. So, people are very, very disturbed by this. Again, it sets up, Chad, there's a double standard in our country of if you're a top elected official, you're going to have a different standard of rules than, the average citizen that lives in my district, whether that's Quincy or Macomb or Pittsfield. So, we have to continue to do our job in Congress, which is to look into these things and make sure that the law was fully complied with, which in this case, if you listen to the FBI director, I don't think it was. And I don't want to get into why he decided not to seek an indictment here, but it goes to the broader point of we have to hold people accountable, people that violated the law, whether it's the Secretary of State or whether it's a low-level military person or somebody else in government. Holding people accountable is what the American people want us to do.
All right, finally, a question for you, Congressman, about childhood cancer awareness. September is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, and I've done many stories with these families, and the parents of these children tell me that less than 4 cents of every dollar donated to the National Cancer Institute goes to fund pediatric cancer research. Those parents then tell me, in order to get this changed, we need to talk to our legislators. So here we are. How do we change funding for pediatric cancer research?
Yeah. Great question, Chad. My wife and I have 3 young sons that are 14, 12, and 9. I've also been very involved with the St. Jude Children's Hospital in Peoria and also down in Memphis, and seen the great work that goes on there. But clearly we need to prioritize this issue. I just sponsored this week the STAR Act, which will help with focusing more on childhood cancer, getting more resources there, which is an important part of that. That bill has got a lot of co-sponsors, so I'm hopeful that we'll be able to get that passed. I've also been very supportive of funding of NIH. NIH does a wonderful job with allocating resources to fighting cancer. But what we're talking about is having more of those resources go to childhood cancer to highlight that issue there. And so I'm going to continue to work on behalf of this bill, the STAR Act, with a number of my colleagues because, more resources, more awareness on this, and focusing on this has to be part of what we do here. And so happy to do that, and it's obviously for a great cause.
All right, Representative LaHood, we always appreciate your time.
Thank you, Chad. Great to be with you and your viewers.